Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are starting with the breaking news that the United States, Donald Trump, has launched a huge airstrike in Nigeria. And the purpose of this airstrike is to protect the Christian community out there who are being persecuted at the moment by the so-called Islamic State. Now, I'm going to start with a video. And I just want you guys to take context of this absolute soy boy, and then I'm going to get into the rest of it, and then I'll start with my opening monologues. I'll give you guys context on what has been happening in Nigeria with the I think they're called Islamic State West African province or something. I will give you further context on that. But let me just share this video with you guys now, because this guy right now, I mean, he's everything that's, in my opinion, he's everything that's wrong with the world right now. And you'll see exactly what I mean in a second.
President Donald Trump has said the US has launched a powerful and deadly strike against the Islamic State group in northwestern Nigeria. You may recall earlier in the week that we reported that there had been an aid package that had been provided by Donald Trump to Nigeria on the condition of certain protections for Christians in the country. In a post on Truth Social, the US president described IS as terrorist scum, accusing them of, and I quote, targeting and viciously killing primarily innocent Christians. This is obviously a rapidly developing story, and breaking your thoughts, your instinctive response to.
Okay, so before this guy starts, just listen to how this guy responds. He's an absolute soy boy. And people like him, in my fantastic opinion, that's not so humble, he is the reason why the whole of the West we're in such a shit state at the moment, guys. And it's because of people like this. All right. So listen to this guy's response.
Astonished by this news, because we were talking on the show a couple of nights ago, weren't we, about Donald Trump's interference, if you like, in Nigerian politics on behalf of Christians who he wants to identify with. I imagine because he feels there are votes there.
Sorry, I'll let him continue.
Why am I astonished? Because there's a massive escalation from rhetoric to actually striking a sovereign territory. IS, of course, an evil, deeply messed up organization. But to
remember what I said, guys. Remember what I said. If you say but in a sentence, you don't believe, you question what you've said previously. It means you don't believe fully in what you've said previously. Just think that when people are talking. So let's see what he says again.
Deeply messed up organization, but to strike a sovereign territory in that way, I'm gobsmacked, and it runs counter to what Trump tends to stand for, which is hands off, America first.
Charlie,
so what do we think, guys? Do we think people need to make action? You can imagine, like, this guy here, look at him. Look at his little face. And his little shaved head round the side, and his beard, and his little ginger beard. You can imagine, like, what would he do, right? If there's people, right? Imagine there's people dying, right? Literally, women, children, men dying. They're being killed in. I'll come on to the numbers shortly. And it's just a massacre. What would he do? Like, literally, what would that guy do? Would he open a diplomatic chain? Would he open dialogue? What happens when you open this dialogue? Thousands more people die. And it's people like him who refuse to take action. Honestly, guys, it's people like this guy who refuse to take action who are the reason we're in such a pickle in the West. People like him. He's the reason why, in my opinion, which is not so humble, is the reason why we're in such a pickle here in the West.
A quick response from you.
Well, I think just in his post, he just goes on to.
And this guy here, what a fantastic jacket is he wearing? I mean, honestly, straight away, I've got massive respect for this guy with that jacket. Straight away, I don't need to listen to what he says. I'm looking at his jacket and I'm thinking, yeah, that guy knows what he's talking about.
Say the Department for War executed the strikes, and under his leadership, he will not allow radical Islamic terrorism to prosper. And I think that's a sentiment we should all.
Well, President Donald.
Sorry. Right, let me right. So let me start with my opening, guys. Let me start. In fact, let me put the right. I'm going to give you guys some context of. I'm going to give you some previous context of what we know about. So for those of you guys who are just waking up and you're looking at these airstrikes in against Islamic State in Nigeria, I want to give you guys the context of what's been happening previously. So the Islamic State, West Africa province, they're an affiliate group of the Islamic State terrorist organization, and they've been active in Nigeria since I think 2016 as a splinter group of Boko Haram. And you guys know Boko Haram are the Islamist group who are affiliated to Islamic State. I first heard about Boko Haram when they went into these Islamists. They went into a Christian school and they kidnapped, I think, 50 Christian girls, took them. That was it. Then they were just gone. They got brought back years later, and they all had children. So you can only imagine what's been happening. And I don't think they married those. I don't think they married those men out of. Well, you guys can fill in the gaps. So Boko Haram pledged allegiance to Islamic State in 2015. The international disputes over tactics such as the structured approach under Islamic State guidance, including attempts to establish a governance in controlled area, like parts of there were certain parts in Africa they tried to establish a base in. Islamic State of West Africa's operations have expanded, including raids, kidnappings, attacks across northern and central Nigeria, targeting civilian security forces, humanitarian workers to enforce taxes, spread terror, and consolidate territory. ISWAP, we'll call them ISWAP, which is the West African ISIS, and related jihadi groups, including remnants of Boko Haram, have disproportionately affected Christian communities in Nigeria's Muslim majority northern regions. So, look, guys, this is just another example of what happens around the world when you get where you get Muslims and they take majority. This is what happens. Like, I did a live stream before and I was talking about what happens, and it wasn't me speculating. I was giving you guys actual facts of what happens when Muslims take majority. You guys want to go check out that video, but it's not a million miles away to what's happening here. So, like I said, these attacks have been disproportionately affecting Christian communities in Nigeria's Muslim majority northern regions, where Christians are a minority. Attacks often involve mass unalivings, abductions and destruction of churches and villages. And it does seem like we have that in the United Kingdom right now, doesn't it? Whereby we're seeing our churches just vanish, and a lot of them are turning into mosques. So this has been framed by perpetrators as part of enforcing Sharia law or punishing the perceived opposition. A notable example would be from June 2022, massacre at St. Francis Catholic Church in Owa, southwestern Nigeria, where gunmen killed at least 40 worshippers during Pentecost service and the attack was attributed to Islamic State of West Africa. So, can you imagine, right? Can you imagine how the liberals in the United Kingdom would be if a mosque was attacked while they were in the middle of Eid and 40 worshippers were killed? Can you imagine like the outcry and the outrage? And it seems like this was just, nobody really cared about this. According to monitoring groups, Nigeria sees more Christians killed for their faith than any other country, with over 3,100 Christians killed in a 12-month period ending in 2024, alongside widespread kidnapping. These incidents are part of a broader escalation of jihadi violence since the 2010s, contributing to Nigeria's ranking as one of the most dangerous places for Christians. Recent developments, in fact, I'll talk about that afterwards. However, the Nigerian government and security analysts emphasize that jihadi violence is not exclusively anti-Christian, but is a complex insurgency driven by ideology, resource conflicts, criminality, and ethnic tensions. So, in short, what's happening in Nigeria is, as I understand it, is the Islamic State of West Africa province. They've been targeting Christian minorities. They kidnap predominantly girls. They bring them back with children, or maybe they don't bring them back. So that's what's been going on, and there's been absolutely zero outcry from the international community. Right, I've got another video. Is that a video? My internet's being slow. Yeah, I've got another video here, guys. I think, as I believe it, this video is one of the strikes. So let me share this video with you guys. I think this is one of the strikes. Yeah. Now, I believe this is one of the strikes. It may not be one of the strikes.
Roger. I'll be breaking out to the left.
That was a miss. That was a miss. Or do you know what? It might not have been a miss. They may have been wanting to get somebody in that bottom corner, actually. That's the top floor I've just noticed.
Put right on the greenhouses. You gotta come on now. Come on, put that missile. Roger, missiles away. Good shot. Venture. Good hit. Okay, we should clear and go back. Target's destroyed. And breaking left, not to overfly. Intact. Roger. Breaking left. Viper 5-1, Roger. And if you could relay to Dragon 3-3, thanks for all his help. Enjoyed working with him. 526, both of you, thanks for your help today. Roger.
So that's the image. They're the images that have been released on, I guess, social media. I don't know if they're credible. I just thought I'd share them with you guys. So let me jump onto the chat. Good morning, everybody. We are talking about the persecution of Christians around the globe right now, guys. And it does seem the international community is absolutely silent. Donald Trump has sent listen, guys, if you're joining for the first time, we're talking about the airstrikes that Donald Trump, well, the United States, I guess, have launched into northern Nigeria to protect Christians from persecution. Now, I've just been talking about how Christians are being persecuted in that northern region. And what I think everybody needs to understand is this is not isolated to Nigeria. Anywhere you go, look, guys, and I did a video on this. I did quite a longer video on this, and I went through. There's lots of places in the world where, most recently you've got, I think a perfect example would be Iran. Iran's probably the best example. You've got, obviously, Nigeria right now as well. I would say similar stuff's happening in Syria. But whenever you get a Christian community, they make things fantastic. Everything's great. And then, Muslims want to move in because they may or may not live in shitholes because they've turned them into shitholes because they pray 5 times a day. They don't really get anything done. And they're always waiting for, God to sort shit out. But I don't know. Well, let me know what you guys think. So that's what I would think about this. Now, the problem here is you get these liberals like this guy here. In fact, let me just share this with you again. In fact, I'm not going to share it with you again. But then you get liberals like this guy here, who I just shared with you, saying, oh, everything's fine. And then over time, the Muslim majority happens And then historically, look what happens. Look what happens when Christians become the minority. But ladies and gentlemen, of course, that can't happen in the United Kingdom. Of course, that's not happening in the United Kingdom. Anybody who says it is, you're a conspiracy theorist. You'll get locked up, sent to jail for a hate crime, for an anti-Islamic crime, or anti-Muslim hate crime or anything. So I'm not saying that's going to happen here in the United Kingdom if Muslims take a majority. What I'm saying is, historically, look what happens in other countries when Muslims become majority. Look what happens to the Christian community. I'm just saying, guys. All right, you guys go and do your own research. Watch my previous videos. You know, it's not difficult to undertake historic context. And what do we say? Those people who don't understand history are doomed to repeat it. So I'm going to give context now, guys, to what we know so far about these airstrikes. So on Christmas Day 2025, the United States conducted airstrikes on militant targets affiliated with the Islamic State in northwest Nigeria. Now, I don't know whether... I don't think the name really matters. I struggle with these names, guys. You know, there's... I don't know why they do it. They have all these different names. They have Islamic State of Northwest Africa, ISIL, Daesh, all sorts of like different names. It's Muslim extremists, all right? That's what it is. It's Muslim extremists. So I think that should just be the name, Muslim extremists. But anyway, we're calling these ISWAP. ISWAP. It's not a medical... It's not a medical term. It's not a medical procedure. It's not a new piece of equipment from Apple. Islamic State, West Africa Province, or Islamic State. So I think I'll just call them Islamic State for this. Anyway. So the United States conducted airstrikes in northwest Nigeria, specifically in Sokoto State. This marks a significant escalation in involvement in Nigeria's counterterrorism efforts and the first direct U.S. military strikes in the country under President Donald Trump's second term. Donald Trump personally announced the operation on Truth Social from his Mar-a-Lago residence, describing it as a powerful and deadly. I like that word, powerful. Maybe Donald Trump's been watching my videos. I think he does. Is he on? Let me have a look at I don't know. There's a few people watching who don't comment. I think he's one of them. But Donald Trump described this as a powerful and deadly strike against Islamic State terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria. He accused the militants of viciously killing primarily innocent Christians and warned of more strikes if the attacks continue. U.S. Africa Command stated the strikes were conducted at the direction of the president and in coordination with Nigerian authorities. Initial assessments indicate multiple ISIS terrorists were sent away. They were sent to have their 72 virgins in camps with no reported civilian casualties. Nigeria's foreign ministry and defense headquarters confirmed the operation was a joint effort. I don't think it was. Based on shared intelligence and strategic coordination. Foreign Minister Yusuf Tuggar, that's his name, guys, Yusuf Tuggar. So Yusuf Tuggar, good old Tuggar, emphasized it was authorized by the president of Nigeria and describing it as a joint operation not targeting any specific religion. Nigeria stressed its commitment to fighting terrorism while protecting all citizens regardless of faith. The strikes hit Islamic State-linked camps in forested areas of Sokoto State, bordering Nigeria. The groups targeted believed to include elements of Islamic State Sahel province, locally known as Lakouara, which had been active in banditry and jihad activities in the northwest. And every time I think about this, I think like I can't stop. In the back of my head, I can't stop thinking about that soy boy. Honestly, I can't, like, he's an absolute soy boy. Like, he has no idea what he's talking about. He's out of his depths commenting on these things. You know, let me just, I'm gonna share this with you guys again. I'll skip forwards to this soy boy. I can't, let me just skip forwards to this soy boy here.
Said the president
a couple of nights ago, weren't we?
So just listen to this guy here on the right. I mean, first of all, he's not looking very festive. The other guy's got a fantastic jacket, and I've got a lot of respect for that jacket. This guy here, just listen to him, and you can imagine this guy saying, you know, we just siding with any minority because he's absolutely gay.
About Donald Trump's interference, if you like, in Nigerian politics on behalf of Christians who he...
I mean, first of all, this was a joint operation with the United States and the Nigerian government. So it's not really Donald Trump interfering, is it? It's not really Donald Trump, you know, interfering.
He wants to identify with. I imagine because he feels there are votes there. Why am I astonished? Because there's a massive escalation.
Now, remember what I say, guys, okay? Remember what I say when we say but in a sentence.
From rhetoric to actually striking a sovereign territory. IS, of course, an evil, deeply messed up organization. But to strike a sovereign territory in that way, I'm gobsmacked, and it runs counter to what Trump tends to stand for, which is hands off, America first.
I mean, he's totally gay. And I think that's the problem now. We have too many people who are gay and in charge. And like, by being gay, I don't mean like your sexuality. I mean being gay, you know, and we just need to, we need to get rid of people being gay. It's ridiculous. It just ruins everything. It just ruins absolutely everything. James is saying, I wonder why all these New Year celebrations are being cancelled around the world. Yeah, this is what happens. This is literally what happens when and user FW3 FQ3. In fact, I don't know. User Foxtrot Whiskey 3 Foxtrot Quebec 3 Delta Echo 3 Zulu is saying hi, and hi right back to you, user Foxtrot. I'm not going to repeat it again, but hi back to you. Where we're going here. Yeah, so James is saying, I wonder why all these New Year's celebrations are being cancelled around the world. It's not just the New Year's celebrations, it's the Christmas as well. Christmas markets are being cancelled. You know, I saw, was it Dubai? I think Dubai. I'm pretty sure it's Dubai. Guys, can somebody let me Google this real quick? Dubai Christmas celebrations. Yeah, right. Let me just show you this. So, like, here in the West, we're having Christmas closed down, aren't we? We are, because people go stabby, people go rammy. So then you have to put the diversity barriers in. You have to have extra police on the ground, which all costs money. And because the price is going up, then that means because the cost goes up, that hang on. And because the cost goes up, that means that things that people are selling have to go up. So nobody really goes to Christmas markets anymore. But, all right, in Dubai, I'm just trying to get a video for you guys. In Dubai, they're having huge celebrations in Dubai, guys, like huge like Christmas celebrations in Dubai. And it looks like Dubai are celebrating Christmas certainly more than Birmingham, certainly more than Manchester. You know, their Christmas trees look better, you know, and you're thinking like, how is this a thing? How are Muslim countries celebrating Christmas with more cheer than here in the West? It's ridiculous. You know, it really is ridiculous. And I remember sharing that video with you guys. You know, the video of the, what's his name? The minister of I think it was like the United Arab Emirates Minister of Foreign Affairs. And he was saying, look, in the next few years, you're going to have more Muslim radicals born, operating from the West, and he went through because of, you know, a series of failures. And one of them was like that soy boy that I just shared you guys a video of. Honestly, I mean, looking at his face, when I look at his face, when I look at that soy boy's face, I really want to take him places, and like, I really want to take people places and like re-educate them. And I want to ask them I want to say, right, what do you think about X, Y, and Z? And then I want to take them to a place like, I don't know, for example, take them to Stardust City in northwestern Baghdad. Literally, take them to Stardust City in northwestern Baghdad. See how he feels after a couple of hours in Stardust City, northwestern Baghdad, and then ask him the same questions again, and just see if he can, you know, see how his brain works. Silly Gallardi is saying terror has won in Europe. That's the aim, to make you change your life, spreading fear. Yeah, it does seem like that. You know, it does seem like that. It really does. It really does seem like here in the West, we have given up our freedoms. We have given up our communities. We have given up our, you know, our culture. That's what it feels like. It feels like we've given up our culture to appease people who historically, when they take over, will kill us. That's what it feels like. Tell me I'm wrong, guys. Tell me I'm wrong. Listen, this is my opinion. Let me know what you think. Now, I'll give you the reason for that. We've already seen, you know, I've already shared videos of what happens when, what happens in countries when, you know, when Muslims take over as a majority. I've already shared videos with you guys and said what happens. What happens when you get a Muslim community in a country taking majority? What happens to the Christian community? You know, you literally like Google Iran. Just literally go and Google what happened in Iran. I mean, I think this is ongoing in Syria, obviously Nigeria. You know, there's lots of other places that this has happened. This has happened all through history. But of course, that's it now, guys. That's all finished. That's all finished. You know, it does feel like here in the West, we are giving up. We are giving up who we are, and we're giving that up to someone who historically, when they become majority, will persecute us. That seems like what's happening, you know. And it's people like this soy boy who have no idea about the world. He's probably never had a real job in his life. He probably lives on his mum's and dad's money. You know, it's ridiculous, guys. It is ridiculous. Priv Caro is saying, Sean, I think a lot of Christians have moved to Dubai. Look up the percentage. Yes, no, I agree. I know a lot of Christians who've moved to Dubai, and I know a lot of Christians who've moved to Saudi Arabia as well, as crazy as it sounds, you know. And it just like, I can't understand it. And look, guys, let me be quite clear. I've spent a lot of time in the Middle East. So, you know, I don't know if you're joining for the first time or you're new to the channel. I've spent a lot of time in the Middle East. My time in the Middle East, I would say it's been positive. Some places in the Middle East are absolutely beautiful. There are places in Jordan that are just like, there are places in Jordan that are like mind-blowingly beautiful. They are, you know, absolutely mind-blowingly beautiful. You know, Jordanian people are fantastic. And you know what, guys, I spent a lot of time in Syria, and, you know, a lot of the Syrians that I worked with were really good people. The problem is, I don't know. Do you know what? I can't even put my finger on it. Something happens when these people move to the United Kingdom, and I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. I really can't put my finger on it. Easy Rider is saying, are you in a secret society, bro? I can neither confirm or deny whether my membership to any secret societies. No, no. I mean, like, if I was in a secret society, right? I'm not, but of course I would say that if I was. But like, Easy Rider, you've got to give me more context to that. You've got to give me more context to that. Like, is this a loaded question? Like, if I was in a secret society, I wouldn't go online and say I am in a secret society. Not making light of this, but look what happened to the gray squirrel. Yeah, those pesky American squirrels. They turned in here with their brashness. They turned in here with their brashness. They're making all the great. They were putting babies in all the. They were putting that. Why has everybody changed their names to Templars now? Everybody's changing their names to Templars. Yeah, those gray squirrels. They came over from America. With their brashness and their willing and their wantingness to make babies, and then they got all our red squirrels pregnant, and now we just have gray squirrels. The red squirrels are we need to protect the red squirrels. I think that'd be like a little code word, the Red Squirrel Society. That'd be pretty cool. Right, let me continue with this context, guys. Okay, let me give you guys this context. So we're talking this morning about the airstrikes, the Christmas Day airstrikes in Nigeria. So for those of you guys who don't know, last night, Christmas Day, 25th of December, 2025. Sorry, guys, I'm a few years behind. The United States sent in airstrikes to Nigeria, targeting Islamic State strongholds. Now, I'm giving you guys a context of what's been happening. So, these strikes follow months of warning from Donald Trump about violence against Christians in Nigeria, which he called an existential threat. In November 2025, he threatened to withhold U.S. aid or intervene militarily. Guns blazing. We're going to go in there guns blazing if the Nigerian government did not act. And listen, guys, I'll let everyone know right now. Unlike that soy boy who I've just seen, I'm all for going in guns blazing. I am absolutely going in guns blazing. You leave a trail of destruction. You send people running for their lives. But you know what? It's efficient. It gets the job done, and you have minimum casualties. If you don't go in hard, if you don't go in guns blazing, you will take casualties yourselves. You won't get the job done. It will take forever, and it will just be worse. All right. Going guns blazing, going hard, get that shit done. Don't worry about the collateral, and then get yourselves out. That would be my primary go-to tactic. But Donald Trump back in November said he's going to go in guns blazing if the Nigerian government did not act. This security operation aligns with recent U.S. strikes on Islamic State in Syria. That was earlier in December. The security situation in Nigeria faces multiple insurgencies. Now, just as a little added context, I know quite a few people who used to work in the oil industry in Nigeria, and they were telling me it is vastly corrupt. It is vastly corrupt. You get this oligarchy who control the oil fields, and they just it's vastly corrupt. Anyway. In the northeast, groups like Boko Haram and Islamic State and Islamic State West African province have killed tens of thousands over the last 15 years. In the northwest, rising banditry, I like that word, they're calling it banditry, and emerging Islamic State affiliates like Lakurawa, I think that's how we pronounce it, have exacerbated insecurity with thousands killed in 2025 alone. And remember, guys, these are predominantly Christians who are being targeted. While Trump framed it as protecting Christians, experts and the Nigerian government noted that the targets included both Muslim and Christian bad guys. And the conflict involves complicated factors like banditry, farmer clashes, and extremism. No official casualty figures have been released yet, but multiple terrorists have been killed. Sorry, multiple terrorists killed have been but the phrase multiple terrorists have been killed and footage of missile launches and debris has circulated online. It appears to be a precision operation rather than a large-scale campaign. So I think those guys were clearly in helicopters, right? But Donald Trump's defense secretary, Pete Hegseth, has hinted at potential follow-up strikes. This is a developing situation, guys, and I don't think we've seen the last of that. Remember, the Nigerians have got a lot of oil. They have that, that's the reality. The Nigerians have got a lot of oil. So that may or may not be that may or may not be a contributing factor to these airstrikes. Silly is saying, it makes me think, how come to refugees that supposedly escape dark regimes bring it to the countries they supposedly escape? Yeah, that's the age-old question, isn't it? That's the age-old question. I'm escaping persecution in Syria. Oh, okay, come to the United Kingdom, we'll let you in. I want the same laws and regulations as I do in Syria. Well, I've got a solution for that. I've got a solution. Easy Rider sending a red triangle. I don't know what that red triangle means. I don't know what that red triangle is. Right, let me jump up and get some comments. So I don't know if anybody's ever worked in or lived in. I don't know if they do this around the other places in the Middle East. But when I used to work in Baghdad at Christmas time, all the locals used to wear these Christmas masks, and honestly, guys, they were absolutely terrifying. And they would sell these at like street. So imagine like rubber masks, and they're painted like. So obviously, most Iraqis are pretty brown. So they have these masks that are like this blotchy white with this beard, and they are terrifying when people put them on. Right, let me jump down and get the comments. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So Silly is saying the red triangle is a symbol of Hamas killing IDF soldiers. Right, is that Easy Rider? Easy Rider, is that right? Is that ES Syria da? I hope that's not right. I hope this is just some misunderstanding. I didn't know that, Silly. I didn't know that red triangle thing. I didn't know that red triangle thing. Oh, okay. So, Silly, I think we're talking. I think this is. I think this is an Illuminati thing. Not the. Look, guys. I'll be quite clear. I don't know that I'm not doubting it. I do now. I'm being educated right now. Every day school day, guys. Take education where you can. Knowledge is power. Silly saying the red triangle is the symbol of Hamas killing IDF soldiers. And I think Easy Rider is just saying it's a symbol of the Illuminati. Right, ladies and gentlemen, guys, if you're just joining us for the first time, we are talking about the powerful airstrikes that have just gone into Nigeria, taking out these terrorist organizations, Islamic State of West Africa Province, ISWAP. No, iSwap's not a new Apple device. I've got another video to share with you guys. Let me share this now. I've not seen these videos.
Jessica, it was around 6 o'clock Eastern time tonight, about an hour ago, that President Trump announced that the U.S. had launched strikes inside of Nigeria, targeting and killing elements of ISIS in the northwestern part of the country. We don't know how many people were injured, how many were killed in this American strike. What we do know is President Trump says the reason the strike was launched is because he says Christians within Nigeria, as you mentioned, have been targeted. Not just over the last year, but really over the last several years. He broke this news on Truth Social with a pretty lengthy post. I'm going to just read to you the back half of that post. He says, quote, "I previously warned these terrorists that if they do not stop the slaughtering of Christians, there would be hell to pay. And tonight there was. The Department of War executed numerous perfect strikes."
So just put that into context to what that soy boy was saying. Can you guys remember what that soy boy was saying? You know, where, you know, he was saying, oh, we shouldn't intervene in sovereign territories. And you're like, are you absurd right now? Like, can you imagine? Can you just imagine, like, if that guy was in a position of control, if he was in a position of power, and, you know, imagine like there's hundreds of thousands of people being killed and massacred by, I don't know, Attila the Hun, you know, Attila the Hun, Peter the Great, Raven the Fearful, you know, whoever, you know. And he's saying, oh, we shouldn't really intervene in sovereign. There's people dying. You have to intervene, guys. When people are dying and people are being persecuted, you have to intervene. You do. You have to intervene. I don't, you know, you shouldn't really care about international laws if people are dying. It just, honestly, that soy boy's really wound me up this morning, guys. He has that, you know, and like, he is absolutely the problem, you know, with society right now. We have effeminized, you know, we've feminized our male stock. We've absolutely feminized, you know, and I don't know how it happened. I really don't know how it happened. It's probably got something to do with women having more rights. And I'm not being negative. I'm really not being negative to women. What I'm saying is women are natural compassion givers, right? Yeah. Women are natural compassion givers. Yeah. So when you let women make decisions, they are naturally compassionate. That's human nature. And unfortunately, like, you know, all these fighting age young men that are coming over to the United Kingdom, like, I would say we need less compassion right now, and we need strong men to protect ourselves. And the problem is we are so far gone with, so what happens is then, right? I'm going off on a sidetrack. Do you know what? I'll stop sharing this and I will come back onto that, guys, in a second, right? So what I think's happened in society in a broader region, we have had more women taking, having, you know, being able to vote, being able to drive, right? And because of that, because men, puss-whipped men, want to get with a woman, that woman is then, I'm thinking out loud, that woman is then selectively breeding, right? Then you've got selective breeding. So now you've got, because women have got more control and more power, now we've got women who are choosing men who are more compassionate. They're like, oh, I don't want to go with Raven. He's a right knobhead. All he wants to do is fight and like protect and like, you know, he's a knobhead. I want Jono. Jono's got lovely clothes and he's got lovely soft fabrics and he's always like, women are now choosing effeminate men, right? To have children with. So now you've got a woman having a child with an effeminate man. So guess what's happening? You're having an even more effeminate child. So that child's growing up and you're getting the same cycle repeat itself. So we're just raising soy boys. That's what's happening. We are just raising soy boys. And a lot of these people don't eat enough red meat either. So that's what is happening. So now we're having this, like, all the way across the West, we're having this like dynamics where we're having all these soy boys rise who are totally puss whipped and can't make decisions by themselves. Like a real man doesn't ask for other people's opinion when he makes a decision. He makes that decision and that's on him and he deals with it. If people don't like it, they can go fuck themselves. That's how you should run society. Sorry, guys. I was off on a total sidetrack there. Let me go back to this video. That soy boy really wound me up. He really wound me up.
Merry Christmas to all, including the dead terrorists, of which there will be many more if their slaughter of Christians continues. We also saw the second.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We've just conducted a real powerful airstrike. And Merry Christmas to the dead terrorists, of which there'll be many more. Yeah. So there you have it. There you have it.
Secretary Pete Hegseth say, quote, that the president was clear last month. The killing of innocent Christians in Nigeria and elsewhere must end. He says the Department of War is always ready. So ISIS found out tonight on Christmas. More to come, and grateful for Nigerian government support and cooperation. We know, because we've confirmed with a Pentagon official, that the Nigerian government was working with the United States. There was approval, and they worked in conjunction on these strikes. So that is an important caveat to this story here.
Okay, so just to let everybody know, sometimes, and I'm not saying this is the case, but I would speculate it is, when these airstrikes go in, the United States will have gone to the Nigerian government, like maybe the day before or maybe a couple of hours before, and said, listen, we are going to stop giving you guys international aid. We're going to do a lot of bad stuff unless you let us do these airstrikes. And the Nigerian government will have said, oh, what airstrikes? And the United States will have said, well, the airstrikes are going to go down in about 15 minutes. So it's up to you guys. You either say that we worked hand in hand and we continue to give you, financial support, financial assistance, aid, whatever, or you guys say you had no approval of this and we pull our funding. So then the Nigerian government will think, oh, right, yeah, okay, we'll say that. So I'm not convinced on the, because, from what I know of these, some African countries, certainly Nigeria, there are vast levels of corruption. So if they said that this airstrike was going in days, weeks, months before, I would speculate that this information would have been disseminated down and those people would have left.
Just some background. In Nigeria over the last year, sectarian violence has continued to be a major problem. Tens of thousands of Nigerians.
I mean, come on, guys. There's stormtroopers. Oh, I love stormtroopers. I do. I love stormtroopers. Oh, I can't love these because they're Islamic State, but I think they look cool. They look cool, guys. They look cool. What have they got? They've got M4s. They've got American rifles. Do you see how contradicting this is? Like, can you see how ridiculous this is, right? These people will probably be shouting, death to America, down to the West. And you're like, yeah, but you're using Western weapons. Yes, they are a lot better because we cannot make any of this like ourselves. Oh, so you want death to America. You don't want people to use American products, but the rifles are okay. Yes, they are better. They are more durable than Islamic weapons. What Islamic weapons do you produce? None. We don't produce any weapons.
Have been either kidnapped or killed, both Christians and Muslims, targeted and killed by terrorist organizations like ISIS and like Boko Haram. In fact, human rights NGO International Society for Civil Liberties and Rule of Law says that this year alone, there were about 7,000 Christians that have been killed. Again, this has been ongoing.
7,000 Christians killed this year. And that soy boy, that soy boy that we just spoke, that I just showed you the video, he's totally fine with that. He's totally fine with that because you shouldn't intervene in a foreign state. What are you going to wait till another 7,000 are dead? How about 100,000? At what point do soy boys just fuck off? Just accept you're a soy boy, all right? Go to your little, go to your little safe space with your, go to your little safe space with your bright lights and your your little fidget toys. Just fucking stay in safe spaces and let the real men deal with shit. And when you come out, everything will be fine.
essentially since 2009, when Boko Haram really established a foothold in Nigeria, Jessica. So we are seeing this killing, again, Muslims and Christians. But tonight, President Trump emphasizing the fact that Christians have been targeted and killed. He has been saying this for some time, that this might be a possibility. And tonight on Christmas, we are seeing American strikes within Nigeria.
I think that was a better article. That seemed to me like a better article than the GB News one. The GB News one, the guys just clearly didn't have a clue what they were talking about. They had no idea what they were talking about. Andrew Rushton is saying, I don't know if it's normal, but the younger people seem to completely lack initiative, any initiative whatsoever. If you don't give them something to do, they will just stand there like retards. I'm not allowed to say retard. I'm not allowed. You're not allowed to, like. When I stream on TikTok. When I stream on TikTok, if you use that word retard, you get banned. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. People take a lot away from generation Generation Z. But honestly, I've got a lot of faith in them. I've got a lot of faith in them. Mr. Bean is saying Elizabeth Christ Trump, German American businesswoman. Who shit? I don't know who that is. Can you somebody do your homework? Right, Mr. Bean at Lima Foxtrot Bravo 3. I'm literally on the middle of a live stream. Can you tell me who Elizabeth Christ Trump, German American, is? That his mum? Is that his mum? Is that I thought Trump's mum's name was McLeod. I'm pretty sure Trump's mum's name is McLeod, because isn't Donald Trump's mum? No, Donald Trump's mum is Scottish. She's not German. So I don't know who that is. Maybe it's his grandma. I don't know. Gypsy Dave with a fantastic, a little bit terrifying thumbnail, but all nevertheless fantastic. Is saying Merry Christmas, Raven and chat. And Merry Christmas to everyone else as well, guys. And Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to everyone. And as Donald Trump says, Merry Christmas to the dead terrorists too. There's plenty more missiles where the United States are involved. Lion is saying Lionel is saying soy boy needs his soy latte. Look, guys, I will be very happy. All right. I'd be very happy for all these soy boys to go to Wales or somewhere. They could watch musicals. They could watch live shows of Cats, or what other gay shit do they do? I don't know. Just do gay shit. Choose fancy belts and matching shoes, drink their soy latte that's produced by, that's made with free trade coffee. And they can sit there, saying how awesome they are, and just let the real men deal with everything, because that's what we need right now in the world. We don't need more soy boys. We've had enough soy boys. And girls. You are partly to blame. You are. Girls are partly to blame, and they are. Girls are do you know what? I would say girls play a big problem in this, because when you're choosing a partner, girls no longer choose a partner who's going to protect them and who's going to protect their children. They predominantly choose someone who they can boss about. They do. They choose someone who they can boss about and who likes the same things as them. Because girls right now, I actually think that's changing. But so maybe it will change. Maybe So in the days of old, when the wolves were at the doors, and the Anglo-Saxons had to stand strong against the Viking hordes. The girls weren't choosing soy boys who were going to run off and go, oh, run away, the Vikings are coming. They were choosing Anglo-Saxons who were badass, who were going to fight against these, you know, against these Viking hordes. So that's who they were having children with. So now, then you were having badass children grow up, right? But now women are choosing to have children with men who are girly men. You know, and that's the reality. And, you know, a lot of the time these guys are not gay, but I would say a lot of them are bisexual. So now you're having, you know, this gene pool of like effeminate men who are being raised by a feminine woman, which is totally fine, and a feminine man, which is not fine. So you're having these children who are growing up thinking that's normal. And it's not. Guys, men, you should be out in the woods, chopping wood, you know, lifting big rocks. You should have like a bucket, like men should have like a bucket on their shoulders. Like, you know, like a piece of wood on their shoulders, right? With 2 buckets either side. And like every morning you should have to go down to the river and like bring water up to the house. You should have like big beards. I know I don't have a beard. Maybe you shouldn't have beards. Maybe shaving a bit. Maybe shaving is a sign of extra strength. Maybe being clean shaven is a sign of extra strength, because that means you have to, you know, you have to sharpen your utensils, and you have to pay particular intricacies to making that happen without shredding your face, which I did last night. Ryan Wallace is saying, in fact, Templar Forepaws is saying, don't send them here. I don't know, maybe somewhere. Kev Mills is saying, we call them handbags. What a fantastic picture, Kev Mills. What a fantastic thumbnail you've got. Hang on. Trump's grandmother from Bavaria, Germany. Blue blood. Yeah, I think everybody in I think you get these dynasties. You absolutely get these dynasties, and Donald Trump is definitely in one of them. Like, is that a bad thing? Is that a bad thing? Ryan Wallace is saying soy boys love a good sword fight. I think we're talking about the pork sword or the sausage truncheon. I think that's what we're talking about. Girl's job is to grip a nut, right? I don't know what that means. Helen is saying, you're right, though. We've lost these values. We have, guys. We've totally lost these values. I mean, you know, I do think it's coming back. But look, guys, if there's any young girls on here, I don't know what is a young girl. I don't know what a young girl is. But if you consider yourself as a young lady, like when you look for a partner, like, are you looking at someone like, you know, do you, when you, for example, like young girls, you know, when you're looking for a partner, like, are you looking for a partner that knows how to, I don't know. So girls, when you're looking for a partner, right, are you looking for someone who can arrange flowers in a vase and make it look pretty? Or are you looking for someone that can, like, strip an engine down and rebuild it? You know, are you looking for someone who can color coordinate carpets and wallpaper? Or are you looking at someone who can repair a roof? You know, like, where are your, like, where's your metric? And you know, when you break down in your car and you're sat there with your soy boy and he's got all the tattoos on his neck. He's got all the tattoos on his neck, and he had general anesthetic when he had them. And he's got all the big muscles, but he's never changed a tire in his life. You know, are you going to be like, you know, if you know, like, there was a meme, I shared it. I think I did a meme with it behind me. And there was a picture of Mad Max, and it said, like, girls, look at your boyfriend. Does he have warlord? Could he be a potential warlord? And I think that's who girls need to choose right now. I think we need to breed out soy boys. You know, I think we do. We need to breed out soy boys. No kings, remember. I don't know what that means, no kings. No kings, no kings, no kings. No kings. I think I should be the king. I think I'd make a good king. If I could fight my way to the top, I certainly would. Elisa Brittany is saying, I'd hope they're looking for men with skills, not beta boys. Yeah, you know what, Elisa? I don't think they are. I don't think they are. Certainly not in the 90s or noughties. I think girls were looking for like effeminate men. You know, you're like, well, guys, come on. Does anybody wear those? Like, I've seen it and it winds me up. Men who wear trousers that are very short and you can see their ankles, and they wear shoes and no socks, that is just gay. That is absolutely gay. If you're a man, you wear straight or boot-cut jeans and you always wear boots. You know, something you can run in. Like, what is it with men with like showing their ankles? It's just gay. Why are men being gay? Openly gay. If you're gay, be gay. Go and do your gay shit. Securing the past says, I definitely don't want a man who takes longer than me to get ready. Give me a rough and ready any day, and someone who can stand up for what's right. You know, and this is the problem. You know, this is the problem. This is the problem, I think, with society right now. We've bred in, and girls, you guys are to blame. You guys are 100 to like. Girls are 100% to blame, right? Because if you've got like, I don't know, imagine the scene, right? Imagine the scene now, right? You're at a bar, wherever you guys go. You know, you're dancing around. You've got your little skirts on, and you know, you've got, I don't know, you're with your friends. And if the men who are successful are the ones who are also dressing feminine, you know, wearing gay shit and being gay, you know, then the masculine men, they're going to have to start dressing gay and doing gay shit to try and attract, you know, a woman. So what you girls should be doing is saying, mate, why are you wearing those stupid clothes? You look gay. That's what you should be saying. And you should be saying, I don't want to be in a relationship with anybody that's not gay, with anyone that's gay. Right, listen, guys, we have gone totally on a side quest. We have gone on a total side quest. We have, guys. We've gone on a total side quest. Right, let's jump back. Let's jump back on track, okay? We are talking this morning about the breaking news that there have been airstrikes in Nigeria against Islamic State. I'm going to share this article with you guys now from Sky News. Right, where? So the United States carries out airstrikes on Islamic State scum in Nigeria who targeted Christians, Trump says. The United States president said the strikes were carried out in cooperation with the Nigerian government. They were powerful and deadly. The United States has launched airstrikes against Islamic State. We've done that. U.S. Africa Command said the strikes were conducted in coordination with the Nigerian authorities. So remember what I said previously, guys. A lot of times that this just doesn't happen. You know, the United States will phone them up 2 minutes before, and they'll say, "Hey, guys, we're about to conduct airstrikes. If you guys say that that's fine, we can say it's a joint operation. If not, we'll go ahead with it ourselves. If you want to condemn us for it, we'll stop funding." It, you know, it kind of gives them one situation, one outcome. The United States president, who was at his home in Mar-a-Lago, announced the military intervention on his Truth Social media platform. Truth Social, saying, "Tonight, at my direction, Commander-in-Chief, the United States launched powerful and deadly strikes against Islamic State terrorist scum in northwest Nigeria, who have been targeting and viciously killing primarily primarily Christians at levels not seen for many years and even many centuries. I have warned these terrorists that if they do not stop slaughtering of Christians, there would be hell to pay. And tonight there was. The Department of War executed numerous perfect strikes as only the United States are capable of doing it. And he's absolutely right. You know, he's absolutely right. The United States air power is beyond anything that people can comprehend or, you know, even imagine. Anyway, guys, listen, I think I'm going to close this down now. Yeah, I'm going to close this down now. If you're on and you've not done so already, guys, please make sure you hit that like, follow, subscribe, bell notification, all those things down there that help me out, guys. Really, really does help me out when you do that. I will be back on later today at 8. Yes, I will, good sirs, ladies and gentlemen. I will be back on later at 8. Oh, hang on. Andrew Rushton is saying, honestly, it's not the women. You just have to satisfy. All right, okay. We're not going down there. We're not going down there. We're not going down that road. We're not going down that road, guys. We're talking about the macro, not the micro. Listen, guys, I'm going to close this down now. I'll be back on at 8. Yes, I will, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back on at 8 this evening. I will give you guys whatever's happened in the last, 10 hours or whatever it is. Make sure you have a Merry Christmas, all the rest of it, guys. Like I said, if you've not done so already, please hit those buttons down below, the like, follow, and subscribe buttons, because I don't think we've seen the last of this. I think Islamic State are going to try and have some sort of retaliation against Donald Trump. It's going to be a swizzle because you can't really do anything against the United States. The air power is too vast. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I bid you good morning. I'll see you guys later.